Hello and welcome to episode 27 of the Making It podcast. We are back for another of this week's weekly. No, we're back for another episode, and it's this week's episode. That made no sense, but we're here for episode 27, is what I'm trying to tell you. And we're here today with a bit of a theme because it's something that I think we've both been pondering on. Because I don't know, there's the idea of I think the theme of a lot of what this podcast's been about so far, I would say, is exploring to an extent, discovering new things about yourself, relationships, purpose, and we think that there is a character who it is worth talking about. And actually, we feel that it's not very often, if ever, that we've done a podcast about an individual, really, and it isn't necessarily just about him, but actually what he represents. Dan, first of all, how are you doing? Before we get into all that, how are you doing and how's your week been?
I'm good, man. It feels very different to the last episode. I feel like we were both on a bit of a lower streak when we recorded the last episode and we spoke about that and opened up about that. But this week, I feel like I've had a new spring in my step, so to speak, and it links into what we're going to talk about today. It's currently the morning. I'm in Nottingham and I'm looking forward to chatting today, brother. So go on, introduce the individual that we're on about here.
Anthony Bourdain. Now, I would say that my liking for Anthony Bourdain, who, if you don't know, is or was a chef in New York for a number of years, ran multiple successful and unsuccessful restaurants, very authentically himself, and then eventually he became like a food travel blogger. And unfortunately, in 2018, I think he killed himself. So a story that represents a lot of different things. And we aren't just going to be sitting here telling you facts about Anthony Bourdain for a little bit. We're going to be trying to kind of unpiece things and kind of talk about why it's relevant. Now, must have been 3 weeks ago, Dan, maybe less. I don't know. But I bet it was about 3 weeks, a month ago. You called me up and you said there was an opportunity for you to go to France. Now, this week you've been to France, so I'll ask you in a second. But we kind of spoke about you going to France, and I know that you were umming and ahhing, and you know that the original price you got wasn't so great, but we soon negotiated that price down. But you obviously, you went to France, and it got me thinking about Anthony Bourdain because I was thinking that idea of being a little bit hesitant, but just doing it anyway was kind of his whole thing. His whole thing was just move. Like the Instagram reel I sent you, where he's just saying, just move, just go and do it, eat somewhere different, live somewhere different, just move. Are you glad that you made the decision to go on the holiday and kind of saw past your potential regret or doubt or anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. That spring in my step has been from going to France, and I feel like traveling is always a nice natural refresh. Noah's been inviting me to go over to France for a while now. To shout out to Noah, I'm grateful that I got to meet his family and the hospitality was great and it was a great time there. But yeah, I'm very happy I went and thank you for pushing me to do it, brother. Um, but I think I've been quite hesitant with a lot of things sometimes. It's almost like saying yes to something. It's like, oh, like how much money is it going to cost? Like, oh, will it fit in with like my shifts at the pub, or like these things on my to-do list? Will I be able to get them and done in time if I go and do this? Or like, will it align with like the career path I'm trying to do? And it almost feels like at times, especially when I've been in Newcastle, I've felt, oh, maybe it's not the best word to describe it, but for me, it's felt a little bit rigid at times. And it's because I'm so focused on, my goal of sports psychology, my football coaching internship, my uni work, and, doing everything which is aiming towards my career, so to speak, or building my life up to the point where maybe at times I wasn't letting loose enough or being free. And I think for me, a lot of the time, it kind of felt like the pressure of, I felt like I wasn't going on nights out enough and going out and doing your typical uni stuff enough. But I've kind of realized that doesn't tie into it as much as exploring and traveling and adventure, because nights out and that ain't the same. It's more, I feel like, saying yes to a random trip to France like it was this week, or Scotland's so close to Newcastle. Like why haven't I been up there much more than I have been, or doing something with my friends over the weekend because I need to get this uni work done, or I need to do this with my coaching, or do you know what I mean? I just feel like I've almost made myself a bit too rigid at times because yes, it's good what I'm doing, but across your whole life you need that element of exploring. And I think I was hesitant with France just because I was only going for 2 nights. Will I have something on at that point? It's almost like there's literally nothing stopping you, but it feels like there is. It's just that fear of just doing something, and it's just doing that and going out there. And Noah's a big advocate for what we're talking about today, traveling and just doing things. And he's on the other spectrum where he feels like he wants to be doing that all the time. He can't be rigid at all and have no structure. So there is that balance. But, I went out there, I met his family, who were grateful for raising money for Club Rafiki when we did the marathon, and, meeting them and just exploring this place called the Gorge where we just climb this river and these rocks and just being free for the day and having a few beers in the evening. It's nice. It's just like it's freedom in a way, and it's something I definitely want to do more after that trip. But obviously for you've obviously gone out to Australia. You're also doing that sort of thing right now, and it's very interesting. What's your kind of views on just moving and just doing, and almost that balance of being able to explore but also being able to have that structure and you're making it journey at the same time?
Well, I think I've developed a partial structure and a partial routine to my week now. So I'm kind of getting to live a little bit more easy in terms of I know what to expect. Wednesday night football, Friday night football, Saturday morning football, Sunday morning football, or AFL. That is my week at the moment. And then after that, I can piece together where I work. Hopefully Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that. Just a few days a week, just to support me living, kind of stuff. I went to the shop and bought 2 packs of eggs and coconut water the other day. It cost me £13.50.
Blow an egg.
Like from this shop nearby. So I'm determined to get the boys' e-scooter working because then I can just scooter to the supermarket and just get my stuff. But the traveling is opened my eyes to lots of different things because I feel like every time I walk down the beach, I speak to someone new, which is good. I still need to do my thing on the beach, which is something that I am aiming to do either in WA, Western Australia, or when I'm back. I'm back in 3 weeks from now, and I go on Tuesday. But kind of more to your question though, like having structure while traveling is really difficult because the whole point of traveling is to be a little bit spontaneous, because I've not moved here in like a sense of I've moved here. I'm traveling. This is a year of me being flexible, me doing a bit of whatever I want, going out for a beer on one night, not coming home till the next day, or coaching, or do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's really serious, sometimes it's not. It's just about having a good time. But there's still like a sort of outlining structure of what to expect. Do you kind of get what I mean? Do you get what I'm getting at? Like, even though there isn't a rigid thing in place, like you say, there is something. And to be honest, the structure kind of comes from just needing to keep myself at least a little bit busy or busy enough to kind of be like, I'm feeling all right.
So what would you say is like about Anthony Bourdain? What would you say is like the message that hits you when you think of him?
It's the one about the cream sauce. So he's got this thing, and I'll actually. Do you mind if I just pull it up because
Yeah, do it, man. Go for it.
this is really. I don't often read from my phone when I'm on this because I want to get exactly what he said because it's amazing, and it's all about when you're traveling. So it's not about the reason why he travels. This is what he says. He says, eat at a local restaurant tonight. Get the cream sauce. Have a cold pint at 4 o'clock in a mostly empty bar. Go somewhere you've never been. Listen to someone you think may have nothing in common with you. Order the steak rare. Eat an oyster. Have a Negroni. Have two. Be open to a world where you may not understand or agree with the person next to you, but have a drink with them anyways. Eat slowly, tip your server, check in on your friends, check in on yourself, and enjoy the ride. Wow. That's like, that for me is just mint. Like, that is, and by the way, that is coming from someone who wasn't actually happy with themselves, really, because he did an interview in like a podcast where he's in a therapy chair and he's speaking to this woman and she says, you know, are you ever happy? And he's like, I can't be. Like, you know, I wish I could just be happy and content with stuff, but he can't be. Like, he's out here telling us stuff that we need to know. Like, he's telling you from a perspective of someone that's clearly quite deeply troubled.
Did
and
he
the
ever say
traveling,
why?
I don't really think he did. Perhaps stuff from his childhood. I've not really gone that deep into it. And also being a chef, like, is super, like, the stress and stuff that they endure, like, on a daily basis. Going from being a chef to just traveling and relaxing must be the most crazy lifestyle change ever.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he just had problems in general. But the traveling was almost like a thing that alleviated it a little bit. But I just thought that message that had lots of different meanings. Like, it's kind of, we can all disagree and still be friends. Try different things, hear different perspectives. You know, just basically the whole motive is different things are important to a well-rounded life and a well-rounded, becoming a well-rounded individual. And also at the end where he says, check in on other people and check in on yourself. That's massive. That's really big. Like, I know that I do want to talk about the traveling side of it for sure, but as like a sentimental thing, you know, my mum and my stepdad used to make me watch Anthony Bourdain while we ate dinner, and I'm like, I don't enjoy this at all, because I was like 13 or 14. But you know, now I've got older and I kind of, you know, understand a little bit more about mental health, a little bit more about traveling, a little bit more about living independently, and the different challenges in life, even on a very basic level, because we are still young and we have homes and we're very lucky. I actually understand what his sentiment was, and that's why I would like to have a similar mentality to what Anthony Bourdain has.
I think a lot of it as well ties into like riding off like your energy and how you feel and doing things when you feel inspired to do them. That's something I've been trying to do a little bit more now. I saw a clip of it from Modern Wisdom of a guy who's into happiness and all that stuff, and speaking about, you know, just do things when you feel inspired. Because there's been plenty of times where like an idea will come to mind and it just goes onto the to-do list and it doesn't happen for a couple months. But if I had the chance to do it in that moment, why not just do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, just all these ideas we have, why let them go to waste? And it's just that, it gives me a nice feeling like talking about what we're talking about right now, because it's just that freedom of being creative, being yourself, not really caring about the fear. It's still there, but just going straight into it. So you almost can't think about it. Because I do feel like maybe as people these days, you know, we consume a lot on social media. We hear loads of different perspectives. Sometimes, a lot of the time, it's almost like you'll go online and someone's telling you how to live your life, but it's not the way you want to. So you feel like, oh, you're almost conflicted in your mind about the way you should be living your life. But if we just kind of took action based on how we feel and just did those things that felt right, often it will just lead to the right path, rather than questioning every step you take. Otherwise, the journey is only going to be longer to where you want to go. But just that idea of just moving and doing and going and striving to be who you want to be and just experiencing life and doing those things you want to do, you just will be happier. It's also important to have a basis of knowing who you want to be, knowing what you want to do. It makes those choices easier. It makes that jump a lot easier. It makes that idea of just going easier because you can do it quicker because you know it's the right thing. But it's just like you said to me, you know, just being open-minded. It's so important. Like, why is it that often when we hear other perspectives and we hear other ideas, we always kind of think, I'm not too sure about that. Like, I've got this idea. I don't know about that. I'm kind of going to stick with mine. But why not be open to it? Like, not everything that you feel is right is always going to be right as well. You know, taking other perspectives, like you say.
Yeah, and do you know what as well, Dan? I'll say some people in life, they actually box themselves into a corner of only believing certain things because it's what they've always believed in, or they're so afraid to just be open-minded to the idea of something different from the societal norm or what they conceive to be, that they're like, I'm not doing it. For me, if you're going to sit there and say this is how things are, you're wrong, I don't like the fact you're open-minded, you better be prepared to be saying that for the rest of your life. If you're an open-minded person, then you can just ride the wave of life and just enjoy it. Like, there'll be some days where I'm dead set on doing something, and someone will come up to me and be like, I don't think that's a good idea. Let's do this. And I might still be like, come on, I don't want to veer off from my plan. But everything happens for a reason. Different people have different perspectives on why we should and shouldn't do things. And it's important to listen to them. Even if you don't do anything based on what they've said, it's important to listen to them. And kind of on what we were saying a moment ago, I think that what we were saying could relate to direction. People need direction in life. That's why I think some people struggle, because they don't actually have direction. They don't know what and how to get what they want. So they feel that they need to find someone who's going to direct them. Some people find religion because, like, there's people like reformed criminals and other people, that have sought religion to find direction, and it's helped them. Some people find an inspiring member in society that they think, wow, that person is going to provide me with advice and education that will allow me to go on a path of reform, or just to kind of find different things in life, So I think as human beings, we seek direction, but it's very rare that people can find that from within themselves. And to be honest with you, I would say that I've sucked a bit of direction from Anthony Bourdain, because I'm like, I'm a guy on my own. I'm traveling and I want to experience some of the world, but I also want to kind of understand why he did the things he did, how he did it, and how I can enjoy it more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Just that, just that journey of putting yourself in those positions where you can experience more and understanding, why these things are important. And it's interesting what you mentioned about direction, because I also want to tie into a bit about purpose, because I feel like a lot of the close people in my life, or just people in my life, often say to me like, I don't really know what I want to do in my life, and it almost feels like this empty void, and it almost feels like people need to know what they want to do with their life, and you don't. But like you say, it's that idea of direction. um but I seen something recently about the modern day and why finding purpose and finding what we want to do is a little bit tougher than it used to be, because you know in the less modern times it was more restricted to what you do. A lot of people kind of left school and maybe went into a more practical based thing. University was much less of a thing than it ever is now. Now uni is almost like, I don't want to say the typical way, but a lot more popular, almost like the more standard route these days. Um, and uni, yes, you pick your course, but the amount of people that do a course just for the sake of doing a course is is insane.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty
You've
bad.
always said it, like, if you're going to go to uni, at least understand why you're going.
You should
but
though, like you should, because I don't think people value their time enough. Honestly, like if your whole thing of going to uni is a social thing and going drinking and doing all that stuff, that's cool, man. But like, our time is limited. Like the going out for beers and stuff, I really find cool, because I'll be honest, Dan, and sorry to kind of jump in on you, but I would say that when we go on a night out, it's like a mini adventure. It's like a mini holiday. You go out with
they
your
need they need
friends.
to be worth it, though. It needs to be like, it feels
Yes.
right to be doing this. It's not just for the sake of it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you know those little gallivants after work, mate, that we used to have? We
Oh,
just turned 18 newly, and obviously at the time he didn't have a girlfriend. And, and I'm not gonna be doing a best man speech and get you in trouble, but, like, it was just good. It was just fun, you go after work and you're like, "Young lads, there's a few bars you've not even been to yet." You've not met half the people you've met, and you're kind of like, "Wow." The reason we're so excited is because it's new. It's a new challenge. Traveling represents a new challenge, like in a metaphorical form, like in a physical form. Like just going out on nights out as well is just so special. And then you upgrade that, you go on holiday somewhere, and then you upgrade it even more by going solo somewhere like you did. And it's just like, whoa, sick.
yeah, 100%, bro. It's that idea of adventure and just like being spontaneous and just not knowing where things are going to end up.
Yeah.
Um, but tied into what I was talking about, purpose. These days, there's a lot more of a range of things we can do. Even with blooming AI these days, like it's almost like the possibilities of what we can do is endless. So it makes that sort of void bigger of choosing what we want to do. I mean, even before this, Jamie was trying to make a hip hop song about Anthony Bourdain on AI. Like it's just the things we have at our
Oh, yeah.
fingertips these days is beyond anything. But it just creates this bigger void of people don't know what they want to do with themselves because there's so many options. And there's also less urgency as well because with uni as well, it's like you get that 3 years, and I've heard some people describe it of just like, you can kind of pass your time and you don't have to do anything much in the action. Yes, you're racking up a lot of debt, but in the moment, no one's saying to you like that your life's going to end if you don't do this uni work right now. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's also less urgency to get into work, to get a paycheck for a lot of people. Obviously, a lot of more fortunate people, but obviously with the amazing student loan people can get, how big it is, like there's no massive urgency in that moment to be earning money. So it's just interesting, and I think maybe what we're talking about today, it's like we shouldn't be always thinking about what we want to do with our lives and exactly what it is, but just moving and just doing something gives you that some sort of direction, but it's just experiencing and just doing and moving and just seeing things and living. Why is that not something we can do with our lives?
Yeah. And another thing that he said, it was, "I'm not scared to look like an idiot." Like, that sounds like such a stupid throwaway comment, but it isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many of us leave the house and we're like, "Can't wear that shirt, I look like an idiot. Can't wear that pair of shorts, I look like an idiot. Oh, them shoes look stupid. I'm not wearing a hat." You talking about? Like, he just went out, he'd get up in the morning, he'd wake up in this cheap little hotel, he'd get up, wash his face, wouldn't wash his hair, chuck on whatever clothes he had on from last night, speak to the receptionist, where's the best restaurant to go, end up meeting their whole family, and like that'd just be his whole thing. Like it's just, but this is also another thing about like when we talk about relationships and we talk about how you can go from one person to another, like I said with my football coaching, from Mikey to Matt and to everyone at Gold Coast, great football club. For you, with Stephen, with everyone that you speak to, Derek, all the guys at football, all through one person that you meet. This is how special it is, and this is why traveling's special, because one relationship you forge with someone on when you travel will allow you to have so many different opportunities. You traveling up to Newcastle, down 3 hours away, has allowed you to go and stay somewhere with someone 2.5 hours on the plane away in France. Going up to Newcastle has took you to France. Well, why would that make any sense? Why in any world would someone that my mum went to school with once upon a time has now led me to come to Australia through one relationship? Had they never met, I probably wouldn't be here. So this is how special it is. This is how and why you just go into a bar and seeing another person and going, "I'm just going to go and ask if they want to have a beer or just have a chat with them." That's why it's so important, because you will deprive yourself of potential things you could love in life and potentially, on an extreme note, like me, things that your kids will love in life. You just don't know. So I just think that speaking to people and just enjoying what relationships are about is so important.
And I feel like sometimes people kind of wait on something just to kind of happen. Like people are waiting
Yeah,
around a lot of the time, and like maybe trying to do things online. I don't know. I always think about people trying to get a job. It's like, oh, I'm just going to scroll on Indeed every day. But if you went out to somewhere today and just spoke to someone, you could get a job through that. Like, especially, bro, in the modern world, man. Like, just technology. People forget how important people are as the route of getting to somewhere.
what
I could
sets you
walk
apart?
outside right now and not need Google Maps and get somewhere just by speaking to people.
Yeah, all day, all day. And do you know as well that is another thing I would love to do. I'm not going to do it because of the convenience level. Not being funny, I'm not spending 4 hours to ask where the local corner shop is. It's 15 minutes down the road. But like, but I know
For
what you're
what
saying.
you could.
But it would be fun, wouldn't it? Like it would just be fun just to go out. And I think I am going to do more of it. Like now I'm here, just walk down a random street, speak to a random like person in a shop, which I have been doing a lot of, to be fair. Um, but just that one moment where you speak to someone and you're like, ah, that wasn't so difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like that
How
wasn't
does
actually
how
that
does
tough.
how does money tie into all this? Because there is also that side of it where
Yeah,
this all does cost money as well. And yes, you can do a lot of it cheap. Like I went to France, I didn't spend more than 10 euros out there. Like obviously because I had the hospitality and everything, but I spent most of my money when I was traveling getting some food and stuff, like in the spoons or whatever. But like, how does money tie into this? Because there'll be some people listening thinking, well, I've not got the money to do all this.
but like I've said, I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. And there will be potentially people that can't do what I've done. Um, and again, it's like all I can do is do what I can do. If I've got this opportunity to go, I'm not going to not do it. That's how it is. And also, I worked hard, bro. Like I think I would say, I'm not saying that other people don't work hard because there's people that work way harder than me. Got lucky, but I still worked 3 jobs, like two most of the week, and then the football at the weekends or on the weekdays. Like it's still, everything took up a lot of my time. So I grinded, and then I got lucky when I'm here because my mum's friend, obviously, it's her birthday today, actually. So shout out Rebecca.
Happy
Uh,
birthday.
happy birthday indeed. Um, she's let me stay here. And obviously, the thing with that is I'm going to try and help her look after her kids, try and keep the house clean, teach them football, try and do things just to help out wherever I can. Anything I can do, I'm just going to do it. She says to do it, just do it. So it is, I think, a case of being lucky in a lot of respects to be able to do things. But I know so many people that are in a similar position, if not a better one, that haven't taken these opportunities because their money gets spent elsewhere. I'm not going to say where their money gets spent, but it isn't spent responsibly, and that's where we differ. So
100%. And that's another thing as well. It's like I think about sometimes about people who say I haven't got the money, and I completely understand that we're lucky and we're in a position where we're fortunate enough to be able to spend money on these things. And some people may have a lot of bills to pay, and they really got a tight budget. Fair enough. Um, but I think there are those people as well, like you say, who are spending money in the wrong places. But there's also opportunities to make money quite not I don't want to say easily, but it's available to everyone, right? Going into the local pub and asking for a job is available to everyone. Knocking on doors and asking if you can wash people's cars is available to everyone. And obviously, that's maybe more something you do when you're younger. And I'm
definitely,
speaking from an age of being younger. It would be quite interesting if a 50-year-old bloke knocks on the door and go, wash your car for a tenner, but no one's stopping you. But it's just
anyone's dad
it's
out
just that
there
beauty
looking
of
for a
life and
job.
experience and those things being available to you. And if they are, really take them on board and grasp them because they're very special.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit and I'm not going to give anyone life advice because again I'm 19, so I'm just living by my means. To be honest with you, I don't really care what anyone else wants to do, what anyone else has access to and wants to do. I don't really, to be honest, I don't really care because it's like I'm just kind of just doing what I can do, living to my means, trying to reach my potential with career and also with traveling and fulfilling life. So that's all I can really put my focus on, you know. But even the small trips away, the point isn't how much money you spend or how far you go. It's about what you do when you're there. Like my trip to Australia will be just as fun as your trip to Skegness if you make it worth it. If you go and speak to people and you actually enjoy every minute, there's no reason it can't be.
And that's the
And
thing as well. It's like there are places probably in your local area which you've never been to, which you've
yeah,
never traveled to, which you've never just biked to or ran to or walked to. Go on a random walk and see where you end up because there'll be places you've never even seen before. You know that are amazing. I always think about locally around here where I took you once on your birthday when we drove to that woods. Just like there's woods to yourself, and there's just this view of where you've grown up, and it's just like
small.
if I hadn't have just biked over there one day, I would never have known that was a thing. So it's just exploring as well. It's a massive thing, you know. Go on that walk, go on that bike ride, go on that drive, go and find somewhere new. Why not unlock more places on the map?
Do it. It's like GTA, you know, the map's just kind of getting less faded as you kind of go along and and why shouldn't you just do it if you can? If you can do it, just do it. Like just please. Like it's mint. It's fun. You know, and like we say with the theme being Anthony Bourdain, I would say that similar to his life, traveling doesn't cure how you feel. And in a way, you can almost take away that traveling isn't kicking a can down the road. So, you know, when people say, oh, you've gone traveling because, you know, because a couple of people said to me that because I didn't get the job I wanted to get, they thought I'd not stayed here because of that. Like it's quitting, you know, not just quit. But it's nothing to do with that. It's it's about exploring and you know experiencing something new, so that when you come back and you apply for that job or you go for something different, you're a well-rounded human being. That's what I want to be. I want to be an experienced, well-rounded human being, and traveling is offering that. But the point is that traveling, you can't kick the can down the road with traveling because you have to face your problems and your fears and your mental health issues face on, regardless of where you are in the world. And Anthony Bourdain is proof of that. As much as the traveling was fun and as much as he provided great entertainment and education, I will call it that for all of us, he ended his life still. Do you know what I mean? So it isn't perfect, but I think there's a very poignant and there's a very real um, sort of thing to take away from who he is and what he did and his story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that checking in on people is always a massive one, as well as doing and traveling. You know, why not catch up with that person you've been thinking about or message that person you've been thinking about? That's also important because those are the kind of things where maybe one day you regret it if you let that pass by, you know?
Oh God, yeah. You know, God, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been really unfortunate with that. Like, I think with my uncle Stuart, you know, we were meant to be going golfing, and if I had just gone golfing with him a week before, would have been able to go golfing with him. The week I wanted to go with him, he passed away. You know, my uncle had messaged him a week before, and it's a bit bad actually. That's my uncle Nigel. I had the same thing with him. You know, so if you ever get that gut instinct to just do something, to ring someone, to text someone, do it because someone or something is trying to tell you something. And I firmly believe in it. You can call me crazy or whatever you want, but I firmly believe that there's a I don't want to go into this simulation theory thing because I'm mad for it, but I do believe something's trying to tell you something and you should 100% listen to what your body's telling you to do.
Bourdainism.
Bourdainism. That's the name of the episode. If you haven't, by the way, go and watch a bit of Bourdain because other than talking about life and traveling and all that, just these epic monologues, the way he talks and introduces stuff is just mint. I think he's just mint. I just think he's sick. I think I should have listened to my stepdad and my mum more.
I'm
They
gonna
are
go
great
away and
characters.
definitely watch his stuff as well because I've only seen clips and stuff like that. So, but I understand his message, and it's been awesome to talk about the things we've been talking about today, because I think they're very important and they tune into everything in life. So it's been a pleasure again, Jamie, man, to chat with you again, especially about the things we've been talking about today. And also, guest episode out, Lucas Jawa,
Yeah,
making it as a cyclist. Go and check that out right now. And email makingitpod@gmail.com if you've got any queries or anything you want to say, and check out our socials as well.
do all that stuff because we need you to help us and we appreciate it. If you are enjoying the episode, any feedback, as always, give us an email, makingitpod@gmail.com. Catch us on the social media. And in the meantime, have a fantastic week. Shout out to all the TikTok people because we do it every single week. Keep getting on the TikTok. And yeah, we'll see you next week. And I'll probably be recording on my phone. So see you then. Take care. Dan, have a good week.
You
See you
too,
soon.
brother. Take care, everybody.